Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
Okay, guys, we're back. Did you miss us? Because we missed you.
Rules?
There are no rules.
What rules?
This is a revolution, damn it!
You'll hear things you've never heard before.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Who are those guys?
And then there's the other guys.
We're the other guys. We're the guys nobody ever bets on.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
It's time for the Other Alliance Guys podcast with your hosts, Tim, Dave, and Jeremy.
Professional podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And what can we tell you? We are the Other Alliance Guys, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. Sometimes United Wrestling Network, sometimes TNA, sometimes MLP. We got various independents around the world.
I do what I want.
My name is Jeremy. I do what I want. Yeah, man. My name is Tim. I go by Alliance North now. I changed my name. We'll talk about that later, but only very briefly. I'm joined by my brothers in pod, Dave Scooby, our fantasy booker. How are you, my friend?
Doing well. Looking forward to seeing. We'll discuss the debut on Roku, but I'm looking forward to seeing the matches. I saw the matches live of the Crockett Cup, and it's good seeing a wrestling match live, but then you see a different aspect of it when you see it on TV. You see things that you missed, and I mean that's always a good thing. Well, most of the time it's a good thing. Sometimes it's not, but
yeah,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, you can also tell us the other viewpoint, right? The stuff we didn't get to see, and I'm interested in. I'll ask you later, but whether or not this was the order that things happened in over the weeks ahead, or if they mixed it up or not. But we are joined by Championship Wrestling from Jeremy. What does it say now? I'm not high enough for your cutoff. They cut off underneath. I think we get the general idea. How you doing, man?
I'm doing better than EFD's joints. He owes at me $306, and he should pay it back.
That's fair. I think that's more than fair. Well, what are we talking about? Lots of people here watching. That's great. Like Dave said, NWA debut on Roku. You know, the Alliance guys talked about it, but I thought just this once, let's do it too, because you guys might have a different viewpoint about how it went, and the more the merrier when it comes to talking about that particular event. And I want to touch a little bit on NWA 77 in Long Island, New York, and I can't get the NationalWrestlingAlliance.com to pop up right now to tell me what's actually been signed, but not a lot from the looks of it, and that's just like 2 weeks away, less than. I'll talk about this whole Alliance North nonsense about what I'm going to do instead of stuff I used to do. Jeremy's going to talk, I think, about TNA this week. And Dave's going to bring out his fantasy book one more time and say, what NWA titles ought to move to the territories. And if you stick around to the end of this one here, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, I think. I'm giving away this book, Adventures in Larryland, the autobiography of Larry Zbyszko. But did I put it away? I think just to entice him. Larry Zbyszko was never really a holder of the belt this represents, but I have a signed kid's belt by Larry Zbyszko with the whole cool, authentication papers. Look at Jeremy. He's like, I can't. You get what you got to do, man. You got to get your boy on the line. Unless Jeremy's frozen right now. You got to get your boy
I
on the line.
wasn't frozen.
Okay. All right. We're going to give them both away, or the Midnight Reader, who will be taking over the studio, will be, for the first time, we'll be giving them away at the same time. You can win them, but you got to be here next week in order to win that stuff. So that'll be fun. We got he's got a whole library to give away, and he's going to do that on camera. So that'll be fun. But if you're in the chat, speak up. Willie Bowen's here, the flag bearer of the other Alliance guys. Tyrus is so dumb. He thinks that a hairline fracture is when a customer in a barbershop gets injured. Willie, Tyrus will never rest. Not while you drop that. We appreciate you. Speak up in the chat tonight, guys. Let's talk about it as we go along. Let's start with the NWA Powerrr review. This episode, the first episode of NWA Powerrr on Roku, and it was from, as Dave mentioned right at the top of the show a couple of minutes ago, pre-taped from the Crockett Cup back in May. I want to say May.
Yep.
So they're a little behind, and so I don't know. Expand on that for us, Dave. Like, we know they got to get more current, because it's hard to kind of care so much for me when, like, it was just so long ago. What did you think about seeing that, 3 months ago now?
Well, I mean, it's. I knew what happened, and I'm like, okay, I'm watching this a second time, and I'm seeing a different aspect of it from being there live. But I mean, just when there's so many spoilers out there, and when they're doing advertisements for, hey, this is our 77th, it's coming up in a couple weeks, and this is going to be a match, and this is going to be a match. Mm-hmm. There's some matches that are happening that we don't know why they're happening, because stuff hasn't happened on Roku yet to tell you why this team or why this wrestler is now involved in this upcoming match.
Right.
So like I was saying, if we can get down to 4 to 6 weeks, I'll give them 6 weeks at the most. But they have to tighten up. And if they can, I mean, I know they have like the anniversary show, Crockett Cup, maybe a territory show. Maybe if they have 3 to 4 bigger events throughout the year, that's cool. But then if they can get some tapings to come out of those events, but as soon as they finish with the taping, show that. Do like, in my opinion, Dave Marquez is doing the right thing when he does championship wrestling from Hollywood, and he does the UWN type stuff. When they do their tapings, they then show them, they do a month's worth of tapings, maybe 5 weeks if there's a highlight show. Then they show it, and in that time, they do another set of tapings before that ends. So it's 4 to 5 weeks, maybe 6 at the most. But if something is working, you can tell. If something isn't, within that 4 to 6 weeks, you can pivot. But it's one of these things of, if you're more than 2 months behind, it's dead and gone. It's like, if you're a baseball fan, it's like watching opening day of baseball on July 4th. It makes no sense. It has no impact on a time and place of where you are now.
Right. It's 3 months ago's news.
Yeah, it's yesterday's news, and while it may be something that you enjoy, it is yesterday's news. It's done and gone.
Patrick Morcon brings up a similar point. He's watching AIWF, which I think is Allied Independent Wrestling Federations. I think that's what that is. It's a stretch of a sentence for me, but gave me idea for an NWA show highlighting the territories on Roku or wherever. Would something like that work? Like we've talked about this before, Jeremy. Like it's getting a second show out there, getting the territories on it, that type of thing. What do you think? You're on mute, buddy.
I think that YouTube would be their YouTube channel would be the prime place to highlight those shows. Take the main event from each week, compile it into one show, and put that on your YouTube. You can utilize that to advertise the Roku show every week. And then you can utilize the Roku show to advertise the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, income is income. 5 cents is 5 cents.
And you're not spending any more than you really already were just to make that happen.
Exactly. So this is something that I hope to see the NWA expand upon whenever it is something that is kind of becoming prevalent in the mainstream wrestling circle. We see WWE now has AAA. So that is a territory in Mexico for the WWE. Right. There is a partnership with TNA. So that is another territory of sorts for them to send their talent to, which is kind of what I said was going to happen, what I felt was going to happen. And it looks kind of like that is the case. TNA is getting a first look at talent that is leaving the WWE. They picked up AJ Francis as soon as he left. They got Dolph Ziggler as soon as he left. They got Indy Hartwell as soon as she left. They got and my mind just went blank on her. Sade Moreau or something like that. She was with Metaphor, Noam Dar's faction in NXT, and she just got let go. She got picked up by TNA.
Yeah, it makes so much sense to me.
Yeah. So that, again, is in a sense another territory where somebody can go completely drop their name if they want to and go by a different moniker if they so choose.
Yeah.
Get recognition, get pushed up the card if they can in a different territory, and then come back eventually down the road to the main stage again. Yeah. The big territory as it would have been back in the day, St. Louis, your New York, your Atlanta,
100%. Well, we're still in May, unfortunately, and for NWA Powerr. I love the opening package, but I'm always a sucker for those opening packages, though, right? Look great, 10 pounds of gold and black and white across the screen, all the history and all that great stuff. But it starts off with the David Crockett Invitational Battle Royal to become the number 12 seed into the Crockett Cup. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. So a bunch of teams in here. We don't have to go through every team that was in there or blow by blow or anything for any of these matches. But you had a battle royal that included, depending on what your wrestling tastes are, what's Small's first name? Is it Eric? Eric Small. I believe there was. I know the full disclosure. I haven't watched the NWA by choice since, not so much by choice, since for 18 months since they went to the CW. Yep. And, I wasn't getting a VPN just for that. So, and now it's accessible to me. We'll talk about that in a second if you guys don't mind. But there's also a woman in this Battle Royal as one of the tag teams, I believe, too. I don't recognize her. I assume she was from the territories, but there didn't seem to be a lot of territory tag teams in there, which seemed like a missed opportunity too. But the Slime Balls I just said, okay, I've been watching 18 months. I'm going to pick the Slime Balls to win this. Sure enough, they win the Battle Royal despite an injury to, I don't know, Slime Ball number 2. I'm sorry, his name has escaped me at the time. What you guys think of this? Dave, what'd you think of the Battle Royal? They're live versus TV.
I mean, I saw a lot more of the action watching it on TV. It was good, but I mean, anytime you have a battle royal and you have that many people involved, there's spots and there's rest holds and there's, okay, it's your guys' turn. Do this, do this. So it's sort of hard to follow when you're watching it live, but watching it on TV, I was able to rewind it and then watch certain parts. But I mean, it was one of those things that, I mean, it highlighted a few possible teams that we may see in the future, which watching them on TV was a lot different than seeing them live. And I mean, like the JV squad, I mean, Jack Vaughn, he fits right into what the NWA is. Whether you look at him, he's an old school style wrestler, but it's like old school in a new era.
Right.
So it's one of those things. And I mean, them making the Final Four was good. I thought Grim and Moses looked okay as a thrown together team. And I mean, the Slime Balls, they really impressed me winning the tournament and then immediately going in and facing blunt force trauma. They had no rest. I was just like, holy crap. But it's one of those things that the invitational tag team tournament, I think it's a good way to highlight teams that may be coming up through the ranks. And even if they're a quote unquote enhancement team or a jobber team, as they say, down the line in a year, who knows where they'll be. I mean, you look at the Slime Balls a year and a half ago, you're looking at them going, who the hell are these guys? Now they're in the Crockett Cup. They won the invitational tournament. They're now going against blunt force trauma. And you're like, holy crap, these guys have improved so much. But it's one of these things that it was good for what it was. It highlighted the people it needed to highlight. While I didn't like the having a female wrestle with the males, it is what it is. But I'm old school that way.
Yeah, same. What about you, Jeremy? You got Smalls in there. You got a bunch of teams you haven't heard of before, which is probably fine. But what did you think of the whole thing?
Billy sounds absolutely fucking ridiculous on commentary. He's a couple of octaves away from sounding like Kermit the Frog.
You're not wrong. I can't unhear that now.
It's funny because it's true.
Yes.
I had the question of why was there one female in there? I was very confused by that, but I chalked it up to just not having watched the product, much like you, Tim, in a very long time. So there were also a lot of people in there that I had no idea who they were. I found the Timu Indiana Jones and his whatever in the fuck that wildebeest looking thing was.
Beast Man.
What was it?
Beast Man.
Beast Man. I think and his Beast. Yeah, Timu Indiana Jones and his Beast were an interesting team. I kind of want to know their background a little bit. Just odd curiosity. It's kind of the Kamala situation, the Ugandan giant and shit. Size matters went longer than I expected. But I kind of dug their wrestling style. It's a very David and Goliath tag team deal.
Right.
Smalls doesn't wrestle above his weight, if that makes sense. I like the little double nut shot that he delivered there. But the slime balls winning to me was the right move in the long term if you're building that division around them, which I would be. They're young, they have character, they seem to have a decent understanding of tag wrestling and psychology, and they're good in the ring. Just keep them away from energy drinks for about 24 to 36 hours before putting a mic in front of them. And that relates to a little segment that we get later on from them. Right. That was a fucking fever dream to me. I've dealt with meth addicts that weren't as amped up as they were.
Yeah, bad. Like it was bad. Yeah. Yeah. Jack Vaughn, Patrick Moore, was he not in OVW? Jack Vaughn's a journeyman, right? Like he's moved around from spots.
Yeah. He's been in I want to say he was in TNA there for a little bit. And he's good. He's a modern old school.
Yeah, I really like him. I've liked him for quite a while. He's cool. Speaking of old school, not to take us too much out of this, but that made me think of the new king of old school. But the Prince was injured recently, and Colby Carino. Best wishes to Colby and his family on his recovery. There's a GoFundMe that maybe one of you gentlemen could find the link to and throw it up in the chat. That'd be great. Let's see here. Stevenson Atkins, welcome to the show. Never a big fan. Now I know why. I don't know if he's talking about us or NWA Powerr.
He's never watched one episode before. Well, I'm going to watch for a few, but I've never watched one episode.
Okay.
Well, if you're new here, welcome.
Yes, 100%.
The Malcolm, I believe, as well. I don't remember seeing him before.
Yeah. Thanks for both you guys for being here. We appreciate it. Either, I'm sorry. Hey, Double D, Devin Dowling, Jeremy, Scooby Dooby Doo, Timmy Gold. I'm Timmy North now, my friend. Our names changed, but anyway, that doesn't matter right now. Where were we? So they win that. Then they go on to immediately, as Jeremy or Dave pointed out, they go right into their match with BFT. Certainly, the most pushed team in the last couple of years, I would think, that, with the possible exception of Knox and Murdoch in the NWA. And they win. They pulled up the underdog win, Dave. You were there. What did you think?
It shocked quite a few people. And I mean, it's one of these things that it was done the right way. It wasn't one of those things that you're like, oh, okay, it's the underdogs going against these big behemoth guys. They're just going to wipe the floor with them. Well, they did wipe the floor with them, but it just takes 3 seconds. It's a 3-second pin. And it's...
I had last-minute plans and had no more sunscreen on my little outing this...
What? Okay. But, it worked. It was surprising, but it worked. And I mean, I'm not sure what they're doing with blunt force trauma. Down the line, I could see them splitting up. Either of those guys can go on to do singles. They've done them before. But I did like what happened after that. Blunt force trauma ended up leaving. And Aaron's just getting in Jared, the ref's face, and out comes Baron Von Storm.
Yes.
And it's one of those things. He comes out, gives him the claw, and I mean, it worked. People liked it, seeing it live, and it worked on TV. Tim was in there, but he was highlighted for just enough time. And then Soda Pop came out, and Soda Pop is from the Texas area of the NWA. So he has a connection, and he gave him the little globe, and people were chanting. They cut it off before they were chanting, but they were singing, he's got the whole world in his hands. So it's one of those things that if they can have Tim team up with Soda Pop out on the indies, and every once in a while be used at a Powerrr taping, it's good. You don't, Tim's up in age, and if he can help bring somebody along for the ride, and if Soda Pop comes along for the ride and then ends up going after the junior heavyweight title, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yep, agreed.
But I mean, it was what it was. It put a button on Tim's storyline that he had with somebody being more or less his handler, since Jax is no longer there to be his tag team partner. Soda Pop jumped in, and I hope we do see something. I hope it's something they don't just drop, but they actually did something at the tapings. I don't know. I know Soda Pop was at the Crockett Cup, and I hope they continue on with the storyline.
One small thing about the globe that they showed Tim, you know, he wants the globe to make him get rid of the club. You show the barcode of like whatever kind of child's toy that thing is. It looks like on TV. If you look at the replay, you can see like the kind of the barcode was sort of like the made in Taiwan writing right underneath it. It takes the Undertaker's urn didn't have like a Target logo on the bottom. Like take it off, get rid of that stuff, hold it in a way where it doesn't get shown. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, Stevenson said, you guys seem to know why did the NWA go with Tyrus, I think you mean. I've seen the videos. It was horrible. For my money, it was because he was a WWE name, which I believe that I personally kind of believe that you've got to be a name almost to exclusively somewhere else to be NWA World Champion. But more importantly, he was, and I think is, as far as I know, a pundit on Gutfeld, one of the most popular right-wing political talk shows on television, talk shows, period. It's way up there. And so he could go on Gutfeld and sit there with the World Championship on TV as he gave his opinions. And it was horrible. It was terrible. I had the pleasure of being there when EC3 took the title from him. But I still maintain today that it was probably worth its weight in gold. I know DK would probably argue. Hey, Jay's here. And Devin does a claw to his son. Oh, but just to tickle it off.
Let's backtrack to that claw real quick about the conversation about the globe thing.
Yeah.
The urn was stupid.
Okay.
Any type of little token, it for me anyways, drop that aspect of it. Keep Soda Pop in there as a handler, somebody that, he recognizes, but drop the whole mystical token thing that holds some sway over a full-grown adult. It's never been a trope that I understood.
It made sense in the early days of Taker when that was the kind of wrestling WWE was putting out exclusively. I agree.
The cartoon years, yeah.
Let me see here. Hammerstone would be. He was just in the NWA.
And he's coming back for 77.
There you go. He'll be at 77. Patrick Moore, like BFT, who were in this. We got to get back to this, I guess. But lots of other comments in the chat here. We liked Aldis and Trevor to a certain extent, and I don't think you liked the Alliance too much, Mr. Aldis. But there you go. Nothing
I love
cartoonier.
a ham sandwich.
Yeah, we are. We have buttons for that. It's that's a point of pride. We get Team Exodus Pro. It's PB Smooth being captain to the ring. Dave by EC3, arguably the biggest name in the NWA these days, even with Tom Latimer as world champion, arguably. And they took on the Lost, Alex Misery, who was here during the chat just the other day for the Alliance Guys podcast. Thought he did a good job of this. And Crazy Steve, first round matchup.
Yep.
I'll go with you first, Jeremy. You're clapping. What did you think of this match?
I didn't get to see a lot of it. Whenever Pretty Boy Smooth was coming out, one of the lights hit the glare on his 8-head, or one of the lights hit his 8-head just right, and I was temporarily blinded. No. I'm a big fan of Crazy Steve. I listened to him on Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore podcast.
Oh.
And that's where I found out that he was legally blind. And that made me go. That was one of the reasons why I started watching TNA, was because I wanted to see how he was doing. And at the time, he was paired up with Rosemary and Sun Yi or something like that.
Mm.
Part of a little spooky faction.
Right.
But it was cool though. And therefore I wasn't watching it like I am now, but it got me intrigued back into watching it to an extent. But no, the match was good. I like Smooth's wrestling style. He wrestles a big man style. And there was a point where I think it was Misery was getting ready to do a dive over either between the ropes or over the ropes, and Smooth just caught him and hit him with the cutter.
Yep.
And didn't jump up, just grabbed him and cuttered him, and I popped for that one. I got, that brought me off my seat a little bit. I really enjoyed this match a lot more than I thought I would.
What about see the comments I got to put up in a minute? What did you think, Dave? You're there live.
It's one of these things that I'm hoping that the Lost don't get lost in the shuffle. Misery and Crazy Steve, they were good as a team, but I think what they need to do is they need to have either a good set tag team in the Lost, and then a couple singles wrestlers. I'm not sure about Lev. Gags lost his horns, which I was glad about. But like I said, Misery and Crazy Steve, they worked well together. But they're so fast, they made EC3 and PB Smooth look almost be moving in slow motion at times.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So it's one of those things that use it to your advantage. But it's one of those things that I think PB Smooth is better off being used in a tag team, as he only has to, quote unquote, work half the time. In reality, that he would have more or less just short matches, because he's a physical wrestler, but he's not a conditioned wrestler, as he can go 10 plus minutes.
Right.
He's good for the maybe 5 to 7, maybe 8 minutes, depending on who he's going against. But EC3 helping him out by being his tag partner, it propels PB Smooth into the Powerrr roster. And if they can do something, whether it be at Exodus Pro or on Powerrr, that's good. But I mean, if they want to represent Exodus Pro, that's fine. But I think they need to come up with a new name.
I almost think they might have one, and I can't remember what it is. Maybe during one of your segments, your guys' segments, I'll go look it up. But that's a good point. If they, because I agree, I don't think, Team Canada basically was a great name in the same vein, right? Team Exodus Pro. I don't know. So they couldn't figure one out or something. I had to put this up. All I know of the current NWA is from Marky D 123. Look, like what you like. What does Brian? What's his name? Say Brian's name. Like what you like. Don't be a dick. 100% agree. You know how you can take any political topic and you can go to CNN and they're going to tell you one side of the coin, and you can go to Fox News and they're going to tell you the exact opposite. Marky D's like that for me when it comes to the NWA. I've never seen anybody make more of a big deal out of a whole bag of nothing in my life, and about how everything's gone to shit. 77 years later, the NWA is still here. 5 years after Billy bought it, the NWA is still here. It's fine to criticize it. We do it all the time. But I don't personally think that Marky, who does a great job, he's funny in some of his videos, really knows what the heck is going on in the NWA. That just, I don't know. What do you guys ever watch his videos? Yeah. But
No,
tell me if I'm wrong. By all means, it's entirely.
No, I to an extent, I think Marky lanes a little bit into a character. I turned my nose up at some of his criticisms about the NWA, about old school TNA, and
yeah.
I don't agree with everything that he says, but I enjoy his videos. He does a lot of he was doing a lot of retrospectives on wrestlers and TNA and shit back in the day. So I subscribe to him and I watch his stuff. So
yeah, awesome. I mean, look, again, Stevenson. By no means are we telling you what you should watch, but yeah, all I'm saying is get all the sides if you can, right? That's all I would say. And the last match of this event, because EC3 and Pretty Boy Smooth go over on the Lost, it's a decent match. We had a television championship match, the TV title made vacant by Carson Drake, who recently had Patrick Moore knows. They're the Holy Grail. I believe he's right. That's EC3 and Pretty Boy Smooth.
Okay.
Yeah. So you were right, Dave. This is why you should be booking stuff, because you knew it already. Jaden said the other night on the Alliance Guys podcast that the Lost need a new name, and I tend to agree, because they've got Father James Mitchell, and the Lost would say to me, denote to me that they don't have any direction. But that's just me. Before we go into that TV title defense, Double D, Marky D plays the role of the Hawk, who is a wrestling fan. It's not Marky D. Marky's the guy who interviewed EC3 on the last YouTube episode. The Hawk is a character who breaks down wrestling stuff. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So even I need to know what I'm talking about before I criticize people who are criticizing. So that's good. The NWA television title is vacant. We got Brian Idol going over Dave Bartholomew Drake, who gave it up to take a shot at the world title, which obviously he didn't win.
So why is he getting a shot back at his title? You should start shuffle him down. I mean, granted, he is one of the, I hate that I'm saying this, he is one of the better up and coming wrestlers that NWA has. I'm still not, I mean, everybody seems to like him, but he rubs me the wrong way. And if that's what his character is going for, cool. But if you give up your shot to go after the title and then you lose, why are you getting a second shot at the title you just gave up?
He's
think
a
about
viral
it.
dance sensation. That's why.
I mean, help elevate someone else. Granted, I mean, in my opinion, it was a good back and forth match. They both are good wrestlers, but I wish neither of these guys would have won.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Wow.
100%.
I just was not interested.
No.
And I mean, I think it was, hey, Brian, you've been doing a good job out on the territories getting us going. Billy's like, here, have this title. You're getting to be our quote-unquote gatekeeper with the TV title. But it's one of these things, I mean, I think Jay and the guys have been talking about, like, the TV title. Have that title bounce around. Don't let them get to 7 defenses. Have it change at 4 defenses. Bounce around. Have 3, 4, 5 guys going after that title. Make it something that you want. That's how you build. And if that character hits, if that wrestler hits, then they can move up the ladder. But if not, it was something we tried. It didn't work. Move on to somebody else. You can tell if a wrestler connects with an audience usually within 2 to 3 weeks.
And you can't tell me, you could, but you can't tell me that J.R. Kratos, who we've been talking about in the Discord, the Alliance Discord, link in the LinkedIn, YouTube doobly-doo, isn't worthy of being elevated to the TV title as a singles wrestler too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just as a random name, there are other people here that can do it. What did you think, Jeremy?
I like what Dave said about the dropping the 7 defenses to like something more reasonable like 4. The 7 worked whenever they had a regular taping schedule.
Mm-hmm.
The 7 was fine. Now it's this long drawn out thing that they can't produce the matches on their own television and show them because they're so far behind. Brian Idol may have a great mind for wrestling. He is a good wrestler. He has channel changing heat with me. He's got that X-Pac vibe for me. I don't know what it. And then Carson Drake. I like Carson Drake as far as a fucking heat magnet. And that kid, he plays that smarmy, Cornette-esque rich kid entitled, with the goofy little fucking dance scenario. Just the punch me face, it just really solid. But I'm kind of there. I if somebody else would have ran in and said, nope, it's mine now, I would have been like, cool, awesome. I don't see either of these two with it. But with that said, again, Drake is somebody that you can build around. It's another young, youthful talent that he has that he can build this company around. And the guy has a good mind for the business. He's a fucking heat magnet, and he's good in the ring. He's good on the mic. He's an asset. A lot like fucking the slime balls and the new guys that they brought in with under James Mitchell.
The Lost. You mean?
Yeah. Who was it that was paired up with Crazy Steve?
This guy right here, Alex Misery.
Hello. No smoke blowing up your ass. You won't get that here. But you're good. You're an agile fucker, dude. I like the way you bounced off them ropes and shit. You used that whole ring.
That's good, man.
Bravo, bro. But Billy has the talent there to build around and to make something and catapult the NWA from Roku to something bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, I hope that the vision's there and that the execution is done well.
Yeah. And and for the TV title match too, it wasn't a bad match, and it was fairly well executed overall. But I also have trouble getting drawn into a match like that when it's Brian Idol and when there's a TV title match on a premium live event or pay-per-view. I don't know. It's a title for me that I think should be used differently. And that's a whole other thing. We've talked about getting rid of the 605, getting rid of the Lucky 7, getting it like just every other week, putting it on TV and have a guy get 5 defenses and lose and go, holy shit. Like that guy really got elevated out of this thing. He's headed for the national title level right now.
Now, did they mention that if there was a 605 time limit for this match or not?
I don't remember. Do you, Dave?
I can't remember. I don't know. I mean, if
anything, I think it's
give it a straight 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's good. But if I can mention one thing,
of course,
just about the overall show itself. I was there live and I saw it as it happened. But if you're watching it on TV, it's one of these things. When you're there live, you don't hear the commentators. So you're not really sure what they're talking about. Watching it live is a totally different experience than watching it on TV. They're talking and it's like, okay, hey, we've got to take a break. No, you don't. You're taking a break and you're going to a promo of something that's either happening in next week's show or, hey, it's a promo about the NWA. Or it's a related commercial about NWA products, NWA shows, NWA merchandise. Put those in between the matches. Don't break up a match. I mean, I worked in radio for years. It's like a DJ jumping on in between that he's playing Stairway to Heaven and it's rocking. And all of a sudden, he stops the song and starts telling you, hey, don't forget to join our morning show. They'll be live tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Now back to this. And then they start
I would change the channel if you were a DJ that talked through the beginning or the end of a fucking song.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just, to me, that's what this is. Oh, we have to take a break. No, you don't. There's a time and a place. They need to just sit down and figure out that all these promos go in between the matches. If you're taking a break, that if you listen to radio and a DJ's talking, that they'll be talking about something and then they jump into, okay, hey, we'll take a look at our forecast coming up next. Then they jump into a promo for the radio station. That promo takes them into a regular commercial, which is where they make their money.
Right.
So do the same thing. After a match is done, hey, coming up next, we'll take a look at the next match in the Crockett Cup. And then you have a promo, a couple commercials, and then you're back to what you had just talked about, what was coming. So it's one of these things of just do your planning better. And I noticed that, I mean, it was only just over 40 minutes. It was maybe 42 minutes.
42 and change.
But I'm watching, when they go to take a break, the timer stops. So you're adding only about 3 or 4 minutes when you play those commercials. There could have been possibly another short match or around the territory spot that they could have done.
Yeah, you made this territory thing. It's cool. Let's talk about it. Put it out there. Let fans know.
Yeah. But I mean, they could have put another short match, or they could have said, given a preview of, okay, hey, I mean, like the territorial president promo. Why?
Yeah,
This
why?
is on an NWA Powerr show. Show that on the Territory show. Have those promos at the beginning and the end of any and all Territory programming on YouTube. It has nothing to do with Powerr.
You know, and Jeremy talked about the other promo where the slime balls were, you know, looked like they were losing their minds, to put it mildly. But that happened right after the win in the middle of the Crockett Cup outside on a street or a lot somewhere. It took me out of it. It's just two guys that I don't believe outside the confines of the squared circle, right? As characters outside, like you were hurt badly in your win over BFT after winning that, and then after winning the Battle Royal, and now you're outside going, "Oh, we're going to win the whole thing! Yay!" Like what? Like the vibe was wrong. Everything was wrong about it, and I hated the territorial president stuff. There's a guy coming back after 18 months. It didn't execute properly. I didn't know for probably 30% of it or so what the hell they were talking about and who some of the people were. Like, small things like you could put, you know, we know who everything about Joe Kazana, we know his boys, and, you know, we know Kenzie, and who's everybody else? Just put their names down, let them speak or do something, or better yet, kill it and do something that's real in the arena right here and now, because it was garbage. I don't know. The overall for me, Jeremy, the overall product was better than it was a year and a half ago. And we all talked about this, but I'll let you answer. Natty Neidhart, faced Kenzie Page on this card, and this was your first shot on Roku. And like the other Alliance guys said, like, why not have that match as your first match on Roku, if not your main event? Draw a big name in, and, you know, unless there's a reason where they can't show it, in which case, I don't know what to tell you. Why did you have it then? But anyway, what did you think overall? What did you think of them choosing not to do that?
There wasn't even a mention of that match. There wasn't even a mention of that match.
Yeah.
Like, I understand if you're wanting to sit on it, like make it a grand finale type thing or something, a season finale possibly.
Yeah.
Advertise that.
Right.
At the very least, give the viewer something to tune into. You know, you don't have to give a specific date. We're wrestling fans. We're used to cards changing and things, you know, but say coming up, we've got Natalya Neidhart, WWE women's icon, talent. We've got a match with her. It's coming up.
She's taking on the champ.
Yeah. You can tell me that for 5 fucking weeks. You'll get to see Natty Neidhart going against our champ.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be here.
I'll be here next week to see if it happens, because I'm a wrestling fan. I'm used to being told these things. Coming up. And then it's the end of the show before coming up happens. Or it doesn't happen and you get told the same thing next week. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm used to that. Advertise that. Capitalize on that. Unless for some reason, like you said, they can't, which is dumb.
Yeah. It's dumb. You know, I was originally going to go to this show and meet Dave and Jay there and everybody, but I didn't. And I was kind of like, oh, you know, it's okay. I missed it. Nothing really on the card. And then after I'd canceled the hotel and all that stuff, this came up, like this match. And I went, oh, you know, from I don't know if you coined it or not. I asked the question the other day on the Alliance guys, the shove heard around the world. And I thought, when I watched that, like, and that wasn't even them. That was Bloodsport. That was Josh Barnett's production, right? for a moment I was like, is this legit? Did she, the way, because the way they filmed it, it wasn't so set up. If Jay, by the way, if they can't post it, Jay's video might be the only one of that match online. We got that match. We got that match for you down the road.
And to Patrick Moore's comment right above Devin's about not knowing where to look for the NWA territories, the best way to do that at the moment is to go on to their website. They have what their territories are, and then most of the territories have their own YouTube channel that they run off of. So that is the best way to find that, Patrick.
Yeah. Dave, overall for you, good show, improvement?
I'd give it a C+. If the territorial spots weren't there, maybe a B-.
Okay.
It was good. It was good wrestling. It wasn't great, but it started things off. And I mean, if they're going to, like Jeremy, like you were saying, if they're going to go and do this Crockett Cup from start to finish and do it in order, because this is how I remember it.
Yeah.
That's fine. But say, hey, for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be highlighting what's happening here at the Crockett Cup. We've got Tom Latimer defending against the Man Beast Rhino here at the old ECW arena, and the Prince of Old School. He's injected himself in, so it's it's a triple threat match here at the old ECW arena for the 10 pounds of gold. We also have Natty Neidhart taking on the holder of the Burke, and we'll see this, and just plus we'll have all the other Crockett Cup happenings in the next couple of weeks. They need to. I'm not telling them how to do their job, but it's selling down the line.
Yeah.
That as a nightclub DJ and a radio DJ, there's a reason that a radio DJ will come on, and before they go to commercial, they'll say, hey, coming up this hour, your chance to win tickets to go see, I don't know, 5 Seconds of Summer. Right. They tell you what's coming up later this hour, or, hey, coming up, we've got 30 minutes of nonstop music, including, I don't know, Britney Spears, some Backstreet Boys, and we'll have Ricky Martin kicking things off. Let us know what's coming up, whether it's this hour in this show, whether it's what's coming up down the line. Hey, in a couple weeks, we'll have the tag team champions going after the Crockett Cup, blah, blah, blah. It's one of those things that let us know what's going on, or give us an idea of why you want us to stick around.
Yeah. Especially for things where, the awesome legs that match got under it, at least at the NWA level. I mean, we're not talking Cena and Rhodes here. Like, it's not 53,000 people in the stadium. But if you like the NWA even remotely as a casual fan, you like, even if that's just casual, you like Natty Neidhart. You like Natalia. And if she's going to come and try to take the end, and she's a kind of a free agent, nobody really knows at the time, and she cuts a promo like she cut after that shove, where she's like, Natalia's not coming, right? It's Natty Neidhart. And, and I'm bringing the guns, and like I'm pissed off. And I was like, oh, I'm missing the show.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Show those promos. She did promos. Kinsey did promos.
Yeah.
They both went back and forth on the socials and stuff. Show that stuff if you can. And again, just keep using it, coming up.
Right. What was your rating overall, Jeremy?
My rating overall is like Dave's, B minus. I'm hopeful. Like I said, Billy's got a lot of youthful talent there, all the way around. tag team division, the women's division, the men's division. He's got youthful talent there that he can build around. I'm just hoping the execution is done properly. So I will be tuning in this Tuesday and the Tuesday after, and I'm gonna keep track of this and see how it progresses and what it does. I got back into the NWA because that was the wrestling that I grew up with, you know, in territory fashion. That's the wrestling that I love at the end of the day. It's a product that TNA and the WWE, neither one can replicate on a weekly basis. And it just holds a special part, a special place in my heart. So I want it to succeed at every turn. So I am going to, like I said, tune in next week and the week after and see what happens.
I did want to mention that I don't think that some of our Alliance friends overseas can see the NWA. I didn't realize this until the day that I watched this, but last I checked, our friend Fee, but over in the British Isles, cannot watch her beloved NWA, and I don't think Dodie can, and I don't, there's a whole bunch of guys. Lamb over in Germany.
Yep.
I don't believe that they can watch, and this is the same problem they had in the CWA over in the CW, where we couldn't watch, and at least those guys could have picked up a VPN and watched it if they wanted to. I'm sure many of them did, but now I believe Roku is only North America. So, I did see some James H. Jackson, my buddy James H. Jackson Jr. Thank you for all your help recently and helping me find the NWA on Roku in Canada. It was buried so deep that you needed a shovel to find it. He helped me do that, but he posted something where he said to Brian Idol, "What about for outside?" And Brian Idol said, "Keep watching for updates," and which is no shade to Brian Idol that hasn't been thrown already tonight, but that's what we heard at best for the longest time around the CW. And so I don't know. We got to think about that one. I got to think about that one and how to best support those guys as we go ahead. I gave it a B- myself as well. Not the worst start. Just thought like you guys, I thought we could have done a little bit better. Go ahead.
Here's my thing with the lack of international broadcasting on it. Billy's in the music business, so he understands United States music rights and international music rights shit.
Yeah.
I can't see that there's much difference between music and television rights.
No.
So are you just not interested at all in an international rights deal? Because at the end of the day, one of the largest consumers of wrestling, far outpassing the United States, is India.
Mm-hmm.
They consume that shit on such a scale, it's mind-blowing to see the numbers that come in for Indian viewers of podcasts, wrestling, YouTube numbers and stuff based around wrestling stuff. There is a huge untapped market in the international scene, and I don't understand why that there's no, it really seems like there's just no drive to allow it beyond our borders.
I'm sure there is I can't speak for Billy Corgan. We don't have the inside knowledge. I don't know anyone who does, but I think that the answer is probably he can't get one. He can't get an international deal right now. And like I said, in that video that I made with, we had a show once when they went to the CW. Yeah, this one here, Ginger Ball.
It's Latimer.
It's a business decision, though. Like it's got to. I can respect a business decision. If you're making money off of it, and it's going to put you in a spot a year and a half further down the road where you can step up into another platform that allows you to have. That I get it, but talk to us. Tell me what is going to go on, right? I don't know. That's always been my problem. Yeah. As far as I know, Patrick Rhino is recognized as an NWA World Heavyweight Champion. The whole line back through TNA and all the way back to Orville Brown is still recognized. Don't trust Wikipedia. Go to wrestling-titles.com, and our friend the great Hisa over there, he's got the full scoop for you. Just type in the belt you want, tell you the actual, give you links to posters from those title changes. He's the man.
Great source there.
Yeah, I want to talk about, if you guys will let me for 5 minutes, I will run through this quickly, but I wanted to talk about MLP for a sec and a little bit about, just very, very quick. I used to be Alliance Gold. If you're new here, I cataloged all these NWA titles for a long time, blah, 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 blah. And then the NWA went away and I couldn't watch it anymore. I got pissed off and I stopped doing it. So I haven't done it for a while other than this show, just kind of keeping up. And I've taken Alliance Gold right now. Well, it's only in the form of Facebook.com/The Alliance Gold. And I've handed it to our illustrious leader, J-Cal. It's now officially a part of the Alliance. It is his to do with as he pleases. And so I changed my name because that's not me anymore. And I'm going to be Alliance North. I'm Canadian, and I'm going to focus on some of the Canadian wrestling that's going on. None more important right now than MLP. There were some results, just for context, back in July. For the MLP ended up going to have Resurrection. My daughter and I went into Toronto and we watched the 20-man Battle Royal about 2 months ago now. Northern Rising, I think it was called. And it was a great show. We really enjoyed it. The month after, they went to MLP Resurrection in Le Colisée du Montréal in Montreal, Quebec. I don't speak French. If you're looking impressed, Jeremy, I thank you. But that was terrible. But for context, for what I'm going to tell you here, they had just some of the events that they had was they do a lot of, if you're an NWA fan, they have some NWA talent here. They have other talent from other places as well. There's Scott D'Amore's wrestling promotion in Canada. And one of the things they have is called the Pro Wrestling Alliance, or the PWA, and specifically the Champions Grail is the name of the belt. So last year, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, with two other promotions I've never heard of, Oceania Pro Wrestling and Qatar Pro Wrestling, came up with an exchange program where they'd start bringing people from those regions, and kind of run them through their own. And they made a title between the three organizations as well, called the Champions Grail. And Rohan Raja beat Hammerstone in Montreal to retain that title after his valet Aurora Tevez interfered with a low blow. So right off the bat, you've got Hammerstone involved in this promotion. The NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, Tom Latimer, who I went to see in Toronto, he got no love from Toronto. And we Torontonians are a weird town when it comes to pro wrestling, right? We're the guys who cheered Hogan and booed The Rock down at WrestleMania. He retained the title. I thought this was the most important match for the card. against Matt Cardona. So Matt Cardona, should he come back to the NWA and make another appearance, he's already had his world title match against Tom Latimer, and he was defeated by Tom in that match to retain the NWA World's title. You had the Good Brothers, who are big MLP guys, defeat the War Dogs, the Bullet Club's War Dogs. Bullet Club OG, I think, is who they are. That was Anderson and Gallows beating David Finlay and Drilla Maloney. That's a big win for the Good Brothers. You had, I thought this was interesting too, MLP had the Canadian Women's Championship. I saw Giselle Shaw get crowned as the first one, and she defended in Montreal against Shotzi Blackheart, and which, you know, good signing, I thought, for this particular match. And as Shotzi ends up gaining momentum in this one, Matt Cardona comes out. He's got a feud with her on the Indies. He costs her the match, kind of beats her up, and Shaw puts her down and gets the 1-2-3 and retains. You had Josh Alexander, your inaugural MLP Canadian champion, defeating Ace Austin with the C4 Spike Pile Driver in the center of the ring, defending that title for the first time successfully in Montreal. And then finally, they had a House of Pain match where Billy Gunn was the referee. And this was PCO, who, PCO in Canada is big. PCO in Montreal is huge, huge. Place was just blowing off the top. He had gotten attacked by Dan Maff. If you know your wrestling, most of our guys too in Toronto, who kind of hung him over the top rope. Dan Maff is huge, like bigger in person than you might think he is on TV. And PCO gets the revenge after almost hanging unconscious over the top rope in Montreal, threw his body out like PCO does, and managed to pull off the win over Dan Maff. It's a decent show. Since then, MLP has done one smaller show, Downtown Showdown in Windsor, which is a few hours from me, where they had the likes of El Reverso. They had Taylor Rising, for those of you with the NWA knowledge. Both of those guys and gals winning their matches. They had Rohan Raj again defending that PWA Champions Grail against Psycho Mike. We like Psycho Mike up here. He's the guy who thinks the body slam is the greatest move ever invented. The crowd pops whenever he pulls one off. He calls for it. And Ace Austin defeating a local Canadian veteran named Brett Banks. You had Giselle Shaw defend against Bia Moss. Bia Moss is I think she's a Winnipeg-based belt collector. Last time I checked, she had like 15, 20 belts to her name around local indie promotions. She's pretty good. Giselle Shaw picks up the win. They had the Good Brothers pick up a win over Sheldon Jean, who maybe you might know from Impact when he gets on TV, and Bryce Hanson. So overall, apparently a pretty decent show. I didn't go down to Windsor to watch this one. And then this is really cool. A small show that MLP is doing, I guess, before they ramp up to whatever the next one will be. It is called Sacred Ground. And Sacred Ground, I'll put myself in the middle. Sacred Ground is taking place on the Ohsweken Six Nations territory. So Canada has a strong and proud Indigenous population, and MLP's going to the Six Nations. They're having a show right there. My wife says no, but I might just take her for a car ride and we'll end up there. If I can report on that one, that'll be awesome. MLPwrestling.com. Go see what Scott D'Amore is doing. It's the coolest thing. This was I failed to put the graphic up. That was the Windsor show. But yeah, I'll try to report on that as we go by. I'm also going to report, because J. Cal mentioned it to me, in the days ahead on Canadian Wrestling's Elite. If you join their Facebook page, facebook.com, I think it's /CWE. It's a tough name. Canadian Wrestling's Elite. 15,000 members in that Facebook group. They got names like, they got names. Go and see for yourself.
They got names.
They got names. They got Brian Kendrick. I don't know how Brian Kendrick resonates in today's world or not. But they got names, and they got shows from Western Canada coming out here to parts of Ontario. Really small town shows that, aren't going to draw more than a few hundred people, but that's the kind of stuff I like. I like it better than the big stuff. So anyway, that's the stuff I hope to look at ahead, and the stuff I hope to kind of run through on a more official basis than I'm doing it now. Devin likes Canada. Well, I like the United States. Just the politics aside are hurting us right now. But that doesn't matter for the three of us right here. We're good right now. Tariff-free. 45 minutes from Ottawa. That's awesome. Just put it in my GPS. That's awesome. Tell wrestling titles to update and add TSW and NWA, Chicago, and Memphis wrestling to the UWN section. TSW, NWA, Chicago, and Memphis wrestling. I see. Yeah, those are three different things. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing admin work for you, Patrick. You tell him to send him a note. Like he's got a lot of stuff on that site. Yeah, it's good. It's a good card. It's a good card that MLD is running. I really was surprised by the quality. It seemed, if I were to put it close, the one that they held in Maple Leaf Gardens, I would say it was like TNA in the Impact Zone, and we really liked it, my daughter and I. So that's it for that particular stuff. Like I say, I'll get into that as the days go ahead. But more importantly, we have a segment, as I try to stretch it out because I can't find the videos in time, that we like to call Championship Wrestling from Jeremy.
Attention, everyone. School is in session. Oh, boy, is this great!
Let me talk to you.
Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
It's time for Championship Wrestling from Jeremy.
Well, normally I would throw up the UWN logo, but I believe tonight we're throwing up the TNA logo. What do you got for us, brother?
So, what I have for you today is the latest offering from TNA Impact from July 31st, 2025, this past Thursday. The reason for that is, and I didn't tune in to find this out, but I shortly after we started the stream, our good friend in Germany, Lamb, posted it, and that this week was reruns. And I want to say that I'm surprised, but I'm not. With that said, that's kind of why I keep my options open, and I do what I want. So with that said, we've got Impact for this past Thursday. And it was a nice little card. We're still feeling the after effects of their last pay-per-view was Slammiversary. But that also puts us on the road to Bound for Glory, which is TNA's equivalent of WrestleMania. We started out the show hot with a TNA X Division Championship match. We had Cedric Alexander versus Jason Hodge, one half of the Great Hands, who are part of Mustafa Ali's Secret Service, against Leon Slater. This was a lightning fast-paced match between three agile, innovative wrestlers. Leon held on to his title and the Afterburst showed that we're not done seeing Leon and Cedric, which we later on in the show got an update. We will be seeing Leon Slater go up against Cedric Alexander at Emergence, the next big event for TNA. I don't know if it's going to be a pay-per-view or if it's going to be available on TNA Plus, which then might also put it available for free on YouTube as well, since they've gone back to showing the weekly shows on their YouTube channel as well. So if you're not a TNA Plus subscriber and you don't have cable, you can go to their YouTube channel every Thursday night and watch TNA for free on YouTube. So there's that. But keeping these two together is a smart move. You've got Leon Slater, who they obviously are eyeing as a future star for the company, to build the X division around coming up, and pairing him with someone like Cedric Alexander, who can match him style-wise in the ring, is a veteran of the business, has years of experience under his belt, so can kind of help Leon learn how to build these matches and make them more dynamic and everything, and fit that X Division vision that TNA seems to be leaning into again,
Right.
Which is smart. That was what set them apart from the WWE and the Ring of Honor and everything at the time whenever they were coming up. We then go backstage to Masa Slamovich with Gabby Laspisa. Keep putting a mic in front of Masha at every chance that she has an opportunity to get a mic in front of her. Get a mic in front of her, especially in front of the fans. Above all, in front of the fans. She's a fantastic worker in the ring. She's got all of the skills to put on great matches in the ring. She needs a lot of work on that mic. And her training from Johnny Rods just shines through in her matches. She is a power wrestler. She does really good at it. She just needs that mic time. And I say that because she had a spot on NXT and she got flustered. And the NXT crowd is not very big, but it shook her for a second. She recovered with help. She recovered, but she needs more experience on the mic. We then get a tag match with Danny Luna and Indy Hartwell versus Jody Threat and Ariana Grace. They played the former teammates match here pretty well. Threat was hesitant at moments where she could have taken advantage. If it hadn't been her former teammate, she would have, type situations. Whereas Luna kind of, we're not tag team anymore. We can be cool outside of the ring, but we're in the ring. We've got business to do, type of situation. And the match was pretty decent. Ariana Grace is Santino's daughter, and
Right.
she showed a lot of that impeccable timing that Santino has. And the crowd was fully behind this match. They really enjoyed it. They popped really good whenever Danny got the pin for her and Hartwell. They were chanting "We want Indy" throughout the match. They popped whenever she finally got the hot tag and got in the ring. Very well put together so far. We then got a backstage segment with Jake Something, and he's talking about how the new TNA International title was made for someone like Jake Something, and he wants Steve Macklin. About that time, Macklin comes into frame. They have a face-to-face, and then we fade to black. We then get a match between the Rascals and the Nimitz. And the Rascals are a fucking fun tag team. I really enjoy them. They're growing quickly on me. I dig the Little Rascals reference with the fucking high sign, and it just.
That's awesome.
What's that?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big Little Rascals fan since I was a Little Rascal, so that one pops me every time, and I'm glad that while I like Zach Wentz and Trey Miguel teamed up together, and it sucks that Miguel's injured at the moment or out. I can't remember what reason that he's not there, but we've got Myron Reed and the young GOAT. I've been a fan of him since him and Jordan Oliver were teamed up in MLW. Just phenomenal talent there. So I can't wait to see what happens. Is he going to stay with the Rascals whenever Trey Miguel comes back? Because they were a 3-man team whenever they were in their initial run in TNA before they went to before Wentz and Wes Lee got signed to NXT, and then Wentz had the whole issue thing and came back to TNA and redid the Rascals with Miguel. But I'm interested to see if Myron sticks around with them, how they play that out. But Wentz picked up the win with the spiral tap, and if you haven't seen this kid hit the spiral tap, it gives me motion sickness just watching it. There's no way I could keep up with what way my body's going in such a short amount of time like he does. And if you haven't seen it, Google it. Fucking Google it, YouTube it, look it up. It's amazing. It's a sight to see. We then go to a commercial break, and when we come back to a commercial break, the Nimbus haven't left the ring. They refuse to leave the ring. They announced they want their contractual rematch clause at Emergence. Ryan begins to disrespect the state of Rhode Island, and this brought out the hometown man. He demands an apology. The Nimbus respond by pulling off his mask. The commentary starts to lean into the fact that the hometown man is actually former TNA talent Cody Deaner. I don't see it. I've seen Cody Deaner. I've seen hometown man. The bodies are completely different. The facial shapes are different. That would be like claiming you're the Midnight Reader, Tim. It's just it's preposterous.
Nonsense. Yeah.
Complete and utter. We then get Mike Santana, and he's out and he tells the audience what's next after defeating Joe Hendry in the main event last week. He talks about his loss at Slammiversary. And he's got his eye on the prize. He wants to bring the TNA title back to TNA, and he feels that he's the man for the job. I had written down that Mike is damn good on the mic, and you believe what he's saying. And I wrote that down, and then my wife got home from work. We went down to the pool. We went swimming for a little bit. We came back up, and I started it back up, and it started back with him talking. I love my wife. She boo-booed all over that. She was mocking him the whole time. Complete and utter transparency. My wife is not a wrestling fan at all. She doesn't understand it. She doesn't care to understand it. And I love her for that. You know, she looks at it with a completely unbiased, untainted by any former experiences eyeball. And I get pure and utter honesty from my wife whenever it comes to wrestling. I still believe in Mike Santana and what he said. Damn it. As she laughs at me from the kitchen. I love you. We then get the TNA Women's Championship rematch between JC Jane, the new NXT, current NXT champion and new TNA Women's Champion against Masha Slamovich. JC Jane, as usual and as you'd expect, comes out with Fatal Influence, and the numbers game match was afoot. Masha was at a disadvantage the entire time, but even with everything happening in this match, Masha showed why TNA chose to put the belt on her ass. She is solid in the ring, like I said earlier. Right. Ash by Elegance and the rest of the Elegance brand come out. Heather by Elegance and M by Elegance and the Concierge. They come out and attack Masha and cost her the match. This infuriates Masha. We then later on we get a backstage segment where they're going to face off against each other, and Santino's greenlit that. So we'll get to see something happen there. But if that is Masha's last chance at the TNA Women's title now for a little bit, then I'm curious as to who they have in mind for next in line. Because keeping it on JC, I could see possibly up till Survivor Series, but then what damage are you possibly doing to the legitimacy of your own title, allowing the other brand to carry it, even if you are having a partnership going on? You know, that business is one thing. The in-ring business is a completely different thing. You know, so I'm hoping to see. I don't want to see the titles rubber banded back and forth and just temporary title changes, you know, and passing from hand to hand to hand to hand like a hot potato. That in and of itself is mind numbing and will drive fans away. But there needs to be something. What that is, I don't know. Maybe that's a good question for our fantasy booker down the road. We then go to Order 4 Slammiversary Victory Rally. Mustafa was given a mic and was on fire until he fucked up and said his name. Whose name, you ask? Joe Hendry.
Is he here?
I think I hear somebody coming down the hallway, so it could be. I'll let you know if somebody knocks on the door.
All right.
But Hendry came out, and he came out with receipts, damn it. He has video footage of Order 4's very own John Schuyler, the other half of the Great Hands. And the video starts with Schuyler, and you see him, and he's sitting in the locker room, and then the next time you see him, he's just completely gorging himself and catering. We then jump to seeing him at TNA merch table, where he very wisely picks up a certain to be future collector's item in the new Joe Hendry shirt merch drop. Primo merch, TNAshop.com. I'm not sponsored, but hey, you know, I work for hot dogs and nachos, so I'm cheap. But then he also made another purchase. He's still supporting his Order 4 team, and he picked up a Mustafa Ali shirt too, which in its own right, very, very nice looking too. It was the aftermath of what was done with that Mustafa Ali shirt that is the point of contention here. As you know, catering can sometimes go one of two ways. It's either really good and everything works out fine in the end, or it's really good and things don't come out so nice. And you need to, you know, you may be stuck in a stall where you don't have enough toilet paper. And John Schuyler had to use Mustafa Ali's shirt as I'm as speechless as you are, Tim. This led to Ali being very upset. Next week we get Joe Hendry versus Mustafa Ali. Stay tuned. We then see Sami Callihan, and Sammy got cut down pretty hard by Moose a couple of weeks back. Moose told Sammy some really hard truths, and it's got Sammy asking questions. He's currently an in-ring talent, but he's also a behind-the-scenes guy as well, working backstage and backstage roles for TNA. He loves TNA, but ever since he's came back from a real serious leg break injury, he's just not quite sure he's the same guy. He's not sure if he's the Death Machine anymore. But he knows that if that person, if that former self is going to emerge itself again, there's one person that can make that happen, and that's Mike Santana. I don't know. I don't know.
Sure.
At the end of the day, it will be a hell of a match. I do know that. It kind of takes Mike out of the title hunt for the moment, but I do know that Callahan and Santana in the same ring, those two minds together are going to come together with one banger of a match for emergence. So I'm really hoping that's an event that's available for the general public as like what is it that Billy calls his events, SLEs or some shit like that, live event or something.
Yeah, PLE, right?
Yeah. We then go to the main event, which is the System versus Trick Williams and AJ Francis, with Casey Navarro on crutches. And that was explained in a backstage segment, a couple of segments before, but I held on to it until now, as it had implications in this match. And in the backstage segment, we saw that Casey was not able to be cleared by medical for his leg injury sustained at Slammiversary. This really upset Trick, who in turn went off on AJ Francis, told him, make this right, get him on crutches, whatever you got to do, tell him to be out there. And AJ Francis, in turn, shit rolls downhill from management. Tim, you're in management. You know how this goes. Your boss tells you something, you got to deliver the bad news to your employees.
Yeah.
Well, it's just how it is. And that's how it was here. But it just didn't sit well with KC. You could see it on his face. And we may be starting to see cracks in the foundation of First Class, as AJ showed that he's willing to do whatever it takes to stay in and around First Class and those that can gain him access to that First Class lifestyle that he's grown accustomed to, even if it means throwing Casey Navarro under the bus and potentially, further injuring him. Not a good look for the guy. But as I said, this had major implications in the match, and it was a good match. I like Moose and Eddie teaming together. They're a fun tag team. Moose is, whenever he wants to go in there and put on a good match, puts on great matches. Eddie Edwards is essentially he is a TNA OG. He's I think they said during the match he's the longest tenured talent that TNA has on contract right now. So he bleeds TNA through and through. So he always goes out and gives it his all. AJ Francis, while Flop Dollar will never die, he does put on a good match. He does understand wrestling. He knows his character. He plays that out well. Trick Williams is definitely a star and will be a name that we talk about for years to come in the wrestling business, I feel. Yeah. He's as big as fucking Moose is, but just more cut than Moose, so he looks a little bit smaller to me, which was kind of odd. But seeing them side by side in the ring, that's a big old boy. Like, that motherfucker is big. With that said, though, he had Moose and set up ready to take a crutch shot to the head, and KC Navarro was ready to deliver it. But Moose, being the veteran that he is, was able to slip out just at the last minute. Trick takes that crutch to the head. That ended up being the nail in the coffin for him. Moose walked away victorious, pitting the TNA World's Champion. So that's TNA's next in line, I would say, as far as challenger for the title. You pin the champ, you go up against the champ next.
Right.
So it is what it is there. Overall, an enjoyable show, a B minus. You know, not everything was great, but not everything ever is. I'm not Dave Meltzer, so I'm not going to sit there and bust my nut over every perceived 5-star thing. But it was good overall. I'm enjoying the product. It delivers. I enjoy it. Like I said, if you got YouTube, which it's 2025, if you don't have YouTube, pull yourself out of the fucking ice ages, you Luddite. Fuck, I've got YouTube, and I'm a fucking Luddite. But it's free on, like I said, it's free on YouTube on their YouTube channel every Thursday night. Go check it out, man. They're really doing some good things there. It's got a good old school Memphis vibe as far as cohesive week to week storytelling and overarching storylines and everything. So it's a lot of fun, and I've been enjoying it. While I can get it for free on YouTube, I pay $9.99 a month for it. I pay for my TNA Plus pass. I want to support the product, so but it's free. You can watch it for free. Don't be silly. If you don't have the $9, you can support it for free. Go watch it. If you're not watching TNA, I am. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe eat an edible or something and check it out. I don't know. It's free, damn it.
Yeah. I have a question. Do you have to pay for it?
No, you can watch it for free on their YouTube channel. Every Thursday night is fucking amazing.
It's free, F-R-E-E, free.
Free, F-R-E-E.
What happens if I don't have YouTube?
Well, then you're a fucking Luddite. You pull yourself out of the ice ages. I mean, come on, man.
Shit. That's funny. Thank you, sir. Hilarious. Informative. I thank you so much. Here, however, to wrap up our show, our anchor man, our Ron Burgundy. I meant that as a compliment.
I fucking like that. Yeah. Oh, I may have to do a little Photoshop magic and get us paired up next week.
There you go. That's your thumbnail next week.
That sure as fuck is.
our anchor man, our fantasy booker, Dave Scooby, in a segment we call I Respect You, Booker Man. Well, Mr. Scooby,
Yes.
I'll put you over here. There you go. You are talking to us back. We're back to the NWA again, and the titles, the National Wrestling Alliance, ought to be moving out to the NWA territories. What do you got for us?
Well, this is just my personal opinion. There's several titles that haven't been highlighted. Granted, you only have so much time when you have a 45-minute show, if that. But they have all these different titles that aren't being highlighted, and it's one reason or another. I mean, Alex Taylor is your junior heavyweight champion. He's also part of the Southern Six, who won the Crockett Cup last year. And it's one of these things of he's barely defending the title. So when I say the NWA can move the titles to the territories, it's either have them featured out on the territories or have a territory wrestler take over that title. It's one or the other. Go on a tour of the territories. In doing that, they scout talent for possible call-ups to Powerrr for future tapings and live events down the line. But I mean, if you just look at the junior heavyweights, I mean, most of them are involved in tag teams right now. You have Alex Taylor. He's your current junior heavyweight champ, but he's also tagging with Kerry as part of the Southern Six. You have Alex Misery, great wrestler. Crazy Steve, great wrestler. They were just a tag team. It's great that they can be a tag team, but they're also have almost a best of match between those guys to see who goes on to have a battle of teammates to see who goes on to battle for that junior heavyweight title. Mm-hmm. I mean, even Gags, the man behind the mask, is a great wrestler.
Yeah.
Give him a chance. You have Daisy Kill. I'm not sure what's going on if him and Talus are still together. Talus has been over in Japan for a while. So why not use Daisy at this time and place to bulk up the junior heavyweight division? I could see him being almost like a Raven-esque type wrestler with that junior heavyweight title. Mm-hmm. Or even going as far as a Heartbreak Kid and using Talos as his Diesel, but in a junior heavyweight version of Shawn Michaels. But it's one of those things. I mean, take that junior heavyweight title out into the territories. That's how it was done back in the day. In the territories, if you weren't on TV, you'd have territorial shows that you could go to. Work a few matches at house shows before it went on TV, and you could see how things would work out. If things worked out between those wrestlers, then it got moved to TV.
Right.
They could do the same exact thing with either the territorial shows, which are on YouTube, or Powerrr, which is now over on Roku. But it's one of those things that you can get a response from your crowd, and if there's a good response, move on and try it on a bigger and better stage. If there isn't, there's no harm, no foul. Things just didn't work out that time. Now, this would give all the current title holders more defenses to pad their resume and a chance to bring in more prestige to that title by them actually being a traveling champion and being out on the territories. Even if they're, I mean, for example, Tom, he's been in Maple Leaf Pro.
Yeah.
It has no affiliation with the NWA, but he has, 2 or 3 defenses that add to the prestige of him holding that 10 pounds of gold. It's one of those things that use what's around you to enhance what you already have.
Right.
Now, I said the junior heavyweight title, that's what I would pick. Also, the U.S. tag titles, they seem lost in the shuffle as well. Do the same thing and just, they had the David Crockett Invitational Tag Tournament. Just do that same thing. Use the U.S. tag titles to be out on the territories. Use as a way to feature undercard talent that can be pushed up to Powerrr down the line, just like I'm hoping to see the JV squad. I was really impressed with what I saw at the Crockett Cup, and even in a losing effort, you're on TV. You're being featured one way or another. It ups your value. It's one of those things that if you don't move up, you're stagnant. There's only 2 ways to go, up or down. If you stay in the middle, you're just there. If you hopefully move up, you're able to do things at a better style advantage. It can bring different styles to the Crockett Cup, to Powerrr, to some of your signature live events.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those, I picked the U.S. tag titles and the junior heavyweight title. You could also possibly do that with the national title. It seems lost. And I know that Mims is a great wrestler. It's just there's too many titles for the time that NWA Powerrr has to give. They have 45 minutes to a show if you're lucky. If they move it up to maybe 50, 55 minutes, you can get an extra match in. If they do a NWA USA type show, they can highlight the territories and highlight these belts out on the territories. If things work out on the territories, that's when you give them a push and a shove towards the power, towards them being on Powerrr. But it's one of these things that the NWA as a wrestling organization, I think they've just given too many things that, okay, we have this TV title. That's great if it's going to be on TV.
Right.
Let's have a female version of that. Okay, we now have that. We have a men's tag team division. Let's do a women's. Well, you only have 1 or 2 tag teams and they fought each other already. So it's picking and choosing where you move things to. I would move the women's tag team titles out onto the territories, but out on the territories, there's even less women's tag team, let alone women wrestling, out on the territories than there is in the NWA. So it's one of those things of there's just too many titles. Maybe it's time to shelve a couple of these titles and just say, okay, until we expand as a company and as a territory, let's just move these belts to the side and we're retiring them for now. We'll come back in 1 year and see what happens. When we build up 3, 4, 5 wrestling tag teams on the women's side, that's cool. But when you're tag team champion and your TV champion on the women's side, there's one that is both. You have too many belts when you don't have enough people to hold these belts.
Right.
So you could do it with the national title, but I'm hoping that they're able to give give Mims a bigger push. But if they have to go out onto the territories, do that. That's what the territories are for. They're to highlight your current champions and to bring people up from the territories, hopefully to Powerrr, and use them, whether it be as enhancement talent or down the line. I mean, like I said, Slimeball started out as enhancement talent. Look where they are now. It all takes time. But if the NWA is willing to expand Powerrr by maybe 10 minutes, an extra match gets put on. Make it a TV title match, whether it's on the women's side, men's side, or have a match for a contenders match for the TV title, the national title, the junior heavyweight title. That's what you use your TV tapings for when they're in studio. When you do live tapings at live events, that's to highlight your champions. So they just need to pick and choose who they use and when they use them. And I mean, this is just my opinion, but there's just too many belts for the amount of time that they're being shown on a wrestling program.
Yep. 100%.
So I mean, that's just my opinion, and hopefully somebody's listening and they start doing tours of the territories. I mean, it worked back in the days when the territory themselves would go 5 to 7 days in different areas within that territory. They'd work those matches, and back then, that was how you figured out what would go on your Saturday TV. Use your territories to figure out what goes on at your tapings. And if things work out, they work out. If they don't, it's no harm, no foul, because unless you're looking for specific matches, nobody knows they happen. Unless you're at that live event.
Agreed.
So that's just my 2 cents worth.
Always a good time. Always insightful. I don't think and remember a time when I don't think you're bang on. So I appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you.
That is more or less it for us, I think, tonight. Just one more thing. Next week on this program, once again, because I got a picture, we are giving away this book and this signed Larry Zbyszko kids title, not a real one, guys. It's got the certificate of authenticity. One of my favorite wrestling books, by the way. It's just such a fun read. It's Larry Zbyszko telling you about the shit that went on in his life. It is awesome.
A man that doesn't get talked about enough in wrestling, modern wrestling circles.
It's true. He was one of
fantastic mind for the business.
Yeah. And I saw Larry late in his career. He's Larry Zbyszko turns 76 next month, and he, like, I saw him, I think, first when he was doing that martial artist Zbyszko thing, right? He had a baby doll with him, and I saw him with I'm sure you guys did too, with Arn Anderson as part of the Dangerous Alliance.
Yep.
Yeah, they were great. And,
fantastic.
Right. And great on the mic as that whole bit was a shining little, gem in a sea of darkness in WCW for me, with that whole Larry Zbyszko versus the NWO thing that went on for several weeks. And I don't know. I really like Larry. He says the slime ball sucks, but Larry Zbyszko doesn't. And so the Midnight Reader will be giving away that book next week, Adventures in Larryland by Larry Zbyszko, plus the signed Larry Z toy belt. We're going to advertise it everywhere and get lots of people in here. There's going to be some trivia. You're going to have to do a little bit of Larry Z trivia to win. If the internet's in front of you, I don't care if you cheat. Go ahead and do it. It's all good.
It happens in wrestling all the time, all right, they're on camera. So
that's right. The ref's not looking. There you go.
Right.
Where can they find you on the socials, Jeremy?
You can find me over on the Facebook or the Book of Face at Jeremy Miller. And occasionally I'll remember that I have Blue Sky at Alliance Jeremy.
What about you, Dave?
You can find me at Dave Scooby over on Instagram, the Big X, and every once in a while on Blue Sky.
I am regrettably back on Facebook. You can look me up on Tim Wood. I will do some Alliance North. I can't bring myself to figure out what particular platform I'll use, but we'll do some Alliance North stuff. We'll start building that up. Most importantly, however, at the Alliance blog on all the socials, everywhere you go, it's at the Alliance blog and alliance-wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. Speaking of the guys who built this thing that we graciously ride on the coattails of, every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, it's the Alliance guys. With Jay, with DKM, with Jaden. Sometimes you get Devin Dowling. Sometimes you get Rick Del Santo. Sometimes, I was there this week, but, that's nothing to write home about. But sometimes there's just people there, and it's awesome. And then every Tuesday at 5, the time hasn't changed, 5 Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, it's the pre-party before Powerrr, the hour before Powerrr with J. Cal himself.
Sweet to be sour, baby.
Too sweet to be sour. Don't forget Tyrus's workout read. I'm afraid to ask, Willie. I'm afraid to ask.
Sweating to the dinner rolls.
Hi, Willie. You can find Tyrus at the all-you-can-eat buffet. Willie Original. That's it for us. That's it. That's all. And until next time, leave the back door of the arena open, and we'll see you at the match.
Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Powerrr. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance.